Hello everyone. In this video, we will learn the third chapter of Class 11 Biology NCERT, which is named as Plant Kingdom. In the previous video, we learned the R.H. Whittaker's five kingdom classification. In that, this is the one of the kingdom of R.H. Whittaker classification, which is the Plant Kingdom. This video is useful for UPSC, MPSC, and other competitive examination. Concepts we will learn from this session are algae, bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms, angiosperms, and life cycle of plants and alternation of generations. Let us move to the next slide. Introduction of plant kingdom. What are plants? Plant kingdom classification has changed a number of times over the years. For instance, blue-green algae were once considered to be part of a plant kingdom, but today they are classified under kingdom Eubacteria. See, in previous session, we learned that the blue-green algae is not actually algae, but it is under kingdom Monera, and it is Eubacteria. Similarly, lichen. Lichen is nothing but a combination of algae and fungi. Okay, so lichen was once considered as a plant. However, they are composite organisms, which are comprised of two individual organisms, a fungus and a plant. Plant, which is algae. Okay. Historically, organisms that could not be classified under animals were grouped under plants. The kingdom plant is also called kingdom Metaphyta. This is important. The kingdom plant is also known as kingdom Metaphyta. The kingdom plant includes all types of eukaryotic, multicellular, photosynthetic plants found in the biosphere. Most of the organisms in this kingdom are autotrophs, which synthesizes their own food. See, organisms are of two types, autotrophs and heterotrophs. Heterotrophs do not synthesize their own food, and autotrophs synthesize their own food. They have most of the time a green pigment known as chlorophyll to photosynthesize and produce their own food. Okay. There are very few species which are both autotrophs and heterotrophs. The history of life on Earth and the success of many organisms literally depend on the success of plants. Let us move to the next slide. Here, we can see the broad classification of plant kingdom. See, the plants are classified into plants which do not have differentiated plant body and plants which have differentiated plant body. Plants which do not have differentiated plant body are Thallophyta. Then in another type, with specialized vascular tissue and without vascular tissue. Without vascular tissue, it is Bryophyta. And with vascular tissue, then there are two subparts, which do not produce seed and produce seed. Plants which do not produce seed are Pteridophyta, and which produce seed are Phanerogam. In this, there are two subtypes, Phanerogam, gymnosperms and angiosperms. We know that gymnosperms bear naked seeds and angiosperms bear seeds inside fruits. See, all the flowering plants are in the angiosperm division. And angiosperm division is again subdivided into two types, which is dicots and monocots. Okay. Dicots are plants which have seeds with two cotyledons, and monocots are plants which have seeds with one cotyledons. Okay, so this is the broad classification of plant kingdom. Let us move to the next slide. The most basic, algae in the plant kingdom. Algae are nothing but Thallophyta. Okay, here is a definition of algae. Algae are chlorophyll bearing, simple, thalloid, autotrophic, and largely aquatic. See, it is not, algae can be both terrestrial and aquatic, but it is most of the times found in aquatic environment, both freshwater and marine organisms. Okay, they occur in a variety of habitats, moist stones, soil, and wood. Most of them also occur in association of fungi, lichen. In the previous slide, we learned about lichen. Okay, lichen is nothing but combination of algae and fungi and animals. Sloth bear. Okay, symbiotic association of algae on animal is found on sloth bear. Okay, the form and size of algae is highly variable, ranging from colonial forms like volvox and filamentous forms like Olthorix and Spirogyra. A few of the marine forms such as caves form massive plant bodies. The algae reproduce by vegetative, asexual, and sexual methods. Vegetative reproduction is by fragmentation. Each of the fragment develops into thallus. Asexual reproduction is by the production of different types of spores, most common being the zoospores. This is important. Most common spore is zoospore. Okay, they are flagellated or motile, and on germination give rise to new plants. See, um, algae examples of algae are volvax and fucus. Okay, algae are now there. We will see the usefulness of algae to man. At least half of the total carbon dioxide fixation on Earth is carried out by algae through photosynthesis. Okay, so more than 50%, up to 50% of carbon fixation is done by algae. So algae are very important to keep the global environment in check. Okay, being photosynthetic, they increase the level of dissolved oxygen in their immediate environment. They are of paramount importance as primary producers of energy-rich compounds which form the basis of food cycles of all aquatic animals. Many species of Porifera, Laminaria, Sargassum are among 70 species of marine algae used as food. See, the important algae which are useful to human being are algine, which is brown algae, and carrageen, which is lead algae, which are used commercially. Okay. Agar, one of the commercial products obtained from Gelidium. This can be asked in exam. Agar is commercially obtained product from Gelidium, and Gracilaria are used to grow microbes in preparation of ice creams and jellies. Chlorella, a unicellular alga rich in proteins, is used as food supplement even by space travelers. Okay, chlorella is a food supplement which is unicellular alga. Okay, the algae are divided into three main classes: Chlorophyceae, Phaeophyceae, and Rhodophyceae. So this is Chlorophyceae, green algae. Chlorophyceae are also known as green algae. Remember this. Phaeophyceae is also known as brown algae. This has been asked in examination. Okay. And Rhodophyceae is red algae. Here are the images of these three algae. Okay. First one, first subtype of algae, Chlorophyceae. The members of Chlorophyceae are commonly known as green algae. Plant body may be unicellular, collinear, or filamentous. They are usually grass green due to dominance of pigments chlorophyll A and B. See, we know that chlorophyll pigment is green colored. Okay, so this dominance of this pigment is Chlorophyceae. So the name. Green algae usually have a rigid cell wall made up of inner layer of cellulose and outer layer of pectose. See, the rigid cell wall of green algae has two layers. Inner one is cellulose and outer one is pectose. Okay. Examples of green algae are Volvox, Ulthorix, Spirogyra, Cara, and Clarimodonus. Okay. Let's move to the next subtype. This is Phaeophyceae, brown algae. The members of Phaeophyceae are found primarily in marine habitats. They show great variation in size and form. They range from simple branched filamentous forms, ectocarpus, to profusely branched forms represented by caves, which may reach at the height of 100 meters. Okay. Caves is algae which can grow up to height of 100 meters. They possess chlorophyll A, C, carotenoids, and xanthophylls. They vary in color from olive green to various shades of brown depending upon the amount of xanthophyll pigment or fucso- fucoxanthin present in them. Okay, these are the pigments present in these soils, these algae. Okay, food is stored as complex carbohydrates. See the flagella. Flagella is a motile organism of algae, which um, which is useful for the movement. Okay, so defining characteristics of this algae is two unequal lateral flagella. There are two flagellas and size of them is not equal. Okay, sexual reproduction may be isogamous, anisogamous, oogamous. Okay, or oogamous. Union of gametes may take place in water or within the oogamous species. Okay, oogamium. The gametes are pyriform, pear-shaped, and bear two laterally attached flagella. The common forms are Ectocarpus, Dictore, Laminaria, Sargassum, and Fucus. Now next one, Rhodophyceae. The members of Rhodophyceae are commonly known as red algae because of red pigment are phycoerythrin. This is very important. The pigment name which gives red color to the Rhodophyceae is R phycoerythrin in their body. The majority of red algae are marine with greater concentration found in the warmer areas. Okay. Now next is important members of these algae are Polycyphonia porifera, Glaciaria, and Gelidium. Now let us move to the next division of plant kingdom, which is bryophytes. Bryophytes are nothing but non-vascular seedless plants. Characteristics of bryophytes. Bryophytes are known as amphibians of plant kingdom because these plants can live in soil but dependent on water for sexual reproduction. Okay, this is important. This can be asked in exam. Bryophytes are also called as amphibians of plant kingdom. In animal kingdom, species like frog are known as amphibians. Similarly, in plant kingdom, it is bryophytes. Bryophytes include various mosses and liverworts that are found commonly growing in moist shaded areas in the hills. See, most of the bryophytes are in um, subpolar areas, okay, in the Arctic Circle. Whenever winter, um, after winter, this comes in that area, okay. The plant body of bryophytes is more differentiated than that of algae. It is thallus-like or erect, okay, and attached to the substratum by unicellular or multicellular rhizoids. They lack true roots, stem, or leaves. They may possess root-like, leaf-like, or stem-like structures. The main plant body of the bryophytes is haploid. Species of sphagnum, a moss, provide peat that have long been used as fuel and as packing material for transshipment of living material because of their capacity to hold water. This is important. Sphagnum is a moss. Provide peat that have long been used as fuel. It is, see, there are four types of coal: anthracite, bituminous, lignite, and peat. Peat is the most impure form of coal, and sphagnum provide the peat. Okay. Now let us move to the next slide. Liverworts. Liverworts grow usually in moist, shady habitats such as banks of streams, marshy ground, damp soil, bark of trees, and deep in the woods. The plant body of liverwort is thalloid. Okay, for example, Marchantia. The thallus is dorsiventral and closely appressed to the substrate. They germinate to form free living gametophytes. Okay, this is the image of liverwort. Okay, now let's just move to the next slide. Mosses. Mosses. The predominant stage of the life cycle of moss is the gametophyte which consists of two stages. First stage is protonema stage, okay, which develop directly from the spore. It is a creeping, green branch and frequently filamentous stage. Second stage is leafy stage. First one is protonema and second is leafy, okay, which develops from the secondary protonema as later bud. They consist of upright, slender axes bearing spirally arranged leaves. They are attached to the soil through multicellular and branch rhizoids. Now the examples of mosses are Phaneria, Polytrichnum and Sphagnum. Okay, examples are important. This is the image of mosses. Okay, now this is the next division of plant, which is pteridophyte. Pteridophytes are first vascular plants. Okay, in the division Pteridophyta, there are four classes. It is Psilopsidia, Equistopedia, Merytiphosidia, and Polypodiopsidia. Okay. In this, there are these orders. Okay. This is not very important order, but we should know the at least classes in the division Pteridophyta. The Pteridophyta includes horsetails and ferns. See, in Bryophyta, we saw that it included liverworts and mosses, and in Pteridophyta, horsetails and ferns are included. Pteridophyta are used for medical purposes such as fluid binders. They are also frequently medicinal purposes and as soil blinders. Okay, they are also frequently grown as ornamentals. Evolutionary, they are the first terrestrial plants to possess vascular tissues, xylem and phloem. See, we know that the vascular tissues are of two major types: xylem for water transportation and phloem for food transportation. Just remember that xylem, in xylem, the direction is only one side. Okay, it is unidirectional, and in phloem tissues, constituents can pass in both direction. This is important. Okay, pteridophytes are found in cool, damp, shady places, though some may flourish well in sandy soil conditions. You may recall that in bryophytes, the dominant phase in the life cycle is gametophytic plant body. However, in pteridophytes, this is contrast. The main plant body is sporophyte, which is differentiated into true root, stem, and leaves. Okay. Let us move to the next slide. This is the image of Pteridophyta. See, genera like Selegania, Salvinia, which produce two kinds of spores, macro and micro, are known as heterotrophs. The megaspores and microspores germinate and give rise to female and male gametophytes respectively. The female gametophyte in these plants are retained on the parent sporophytes for variable periods. The development of zygotes into young embryos take place within the female gametophytes. The event is precursor to the seed habit, considered an important step in evolution. Next one is gymnosperm. Gymnosperms are nothing but naked seed plants. See, the difference between gymnosperm and angiosperms is gymnosperm are non-flowering plants. Okay. Let us move to the next slide. Gymnosperms. As the name derived, gymnos means naked and sperma means seeds, are plants which the ovules are not enclosed by any ovary wall or remain exposed both before and after fertilization. Okay. The seeds that develop post-fertilization are not covered, that is to say, are naked. One of the gymnosperm, the giant redwood tree, Cinchona, is one of the tallest tree species. The roots are generally tap roots. See, the two major types of roots are tap roots and adventitious roots. In gymnosperm, roots are tap roots. They're grown in straight line. Okay. The roots in some genera have fungal association in the form of mycorrhiza. Mycorrhiza is symbiotic association between fungus and roots of higher plants. Okay. While in some other cycas, small specialized roots are called colloid roots are associated with nitrogen-fixing cyanobacteria. The stems are unbranched cycas or branched, for example, pine or cedar. The leaves may be simple or compound. In cycas, the pinnate leaves persist for a few years. Leaves in gymnosperms are well adapted to withstand extreme of temperature, humidity, and wind. In conifers, the needle-like leaves reduce the surface area. See, most of the gymnosperms are found in the Siberian type of climate. The Christmas tree is nothing but a type of gymnosperm. Okay, conifer. In conifers, the needle-like leaves reduce the surface area. That is why they can withstand the lowest temperature. Okay, one of the lowest temperature on Earth. The thick cuticle and sunken stomata also help to reduce water loss. See, the stomata. What is stomata? Stomata is nothing but pores on the leaves of the plants, which help to exchange the gases between the plant and the environment. Okay, this is stomata. So the stomata on gymnosperms are of small size. Okay, let us move to the next slide. The gymnosperms are heterosporous. They produce haploid microspores and megaspores. The two kinds of spores are produced within sporangia that are borne on sporiphiles, which are arranged spirally among the axis of legs of compact strawberry or cones. Okay, this is the example of gymnosperms. The cones bearing megasporophiles with ovule are megasporangia, or called macrosporangiate or female strobilae. The male-female cones or strobi may be borne on the same tree, pinus, okay, pine. Or however, in cycas, male cones and megasporophiles are borne on different trees. Okay, this is the difference between pine and cycas. Let us move to the next slide. Unlike bryophytes and pteridophytes, in gymnosperm, the male and the female gametophytes do not have independent free-living existence. They remain within the sporangium, written on the sporophytes. This is important. See, the pollen tube carrying the male gametes grows towards archegonia in the ovules and discharges their contents near the mouth of the archegonia. Following fertilization, zygote develops into an embryo and the ovules into seeds. Okay. These seeds are not covered. Okay. That is why the name gymnosperms. Next one is angiosperm. Angiosperms are the most advanced, which are the flowering plants. Okay. Angiosperms. Unlike the gymnosperms where the ovules are naked, in the angiosperm, the flowering plants, the pollen grains and ovules are developed in the specialized structure called flowers. In angiosperms, the seeds are enclosed in fruits. The angiosperms are an exceptionally large group of plants occurring in wide range of habitats. Okay. They range in size from the smallest Wolffia, which is about 1 mm in size. This is, remember this, Wolffia, about 1 mm in size, 1 millimeter, to tall trees like eucalyptus over 100 meters. Okay, so angiosperms are varied in size differently and wide range of habitats. Okay, they can grow in wide range of habitats. Wolfia to eucalyptus. They provide us food, fodder, fuel, medicines, and several other commercially important products. They are divided into two classes, dicotyledons and monocotyledons. The dicotyledons are characterized by seed having two cotyledons, as the name suggests, reticulate venations in their leaves and tetramerous or pentamerous flowers. That is to say, which means having 4 or 5 members in each floral vase. The monocotyledons, on the other hand, are characterized by single cotyledonous seeds, parallel venation in the leaves, and trimerous flowers, having 3 members in each flower holes. The male sex organ in the flower is stamen. Okay. Each stamen consists of slender filament with an anther at the tip. Anther helps in pollination. Okay, remember this. Within the anthers, the pollen mother cell divide by meiosis to produce microspores, which matures into pollen grains. The female sex organ in a flower is pistil. See, the male sex organ is stamen and female one is pistil. Pistil consists of swollen ovary on its base, a long slender style and stigma. Inside the ovary, ovules are present. Generally, each ovule has a megaspore mother cell that undergoes meiosis to form 4 haploid megaspores. 3 of them degenerate and one divide in the form of embryo sac. Each embryo sac has a 3-celled egg apparatus, 1 egg cell and 2 synergids, 3 antipodal cells and 2 polar nuclei. The polar nuclei eventually fuse to produce diploid secondary nucleus. Pollen grain, after dispersal from the anthers, are carried by wind or various agencies. Various agency means bees or other insects to the stigma of a pistil. This is termed as pollination. Okay. The pollen grains germinate on the stigma and the resulting pollen tubes grow through the tissue stigma and style and reach the ovule. The pollen tubes enter the embryo sac where the 2 male gametes are discharged. One of the male gametes fuses with egg cell, syngamy, to form a zygote. The other male gametes fuses with diploid secondary nucleus to produce the diploid primary endosperm nucleus, PEN. It is short form is PEN. Because of the occurrence of 2 fusions, syngamy and triple fusions, okay, the event is termed as double fertilization. This is important. An event unique to angiosperm. This event is unique to angiosperms, okay. This is the life cycle of angiosperm. Okay. Stigma, filament, microsporidium, microspore, male gametophyte, gametes, egg. Okay. Then fertilized egg is zygote. Then there is embryo. This is final product. And then again sporophyte. This is you will see in the next topic, alternation of generation of plant. This is sporophytic generation and this is gametophytic generation. There are 2 major generations of plants. Okay, this is important. Let us move to the next slide. Plant life cycle and alternation of generations. Okay. There are 3 main phases: diplontic, haplontic, and haplodiplontic. Diplontic phase. Here the mitotic division occurs only in diploid cells. Okay, the gametes formed through the meiosis are haploid in nature. The diploid zygote divide mitotically. In this process, production of unicellular diploid organisms or in the production of many diploid single cells take place. Okay, for example, animals. In animals, diplontic divisions occur. Now the haplontic. Here mitosis occurs in haploid cell. It results in the formation of single haploid cell or a multicellular haploid organism. Okay, this is the diagram of haplontic, haploid single cell or multicellular organisms. This is mitosis, fertilization, meiosis, spores. Okay, these are the four important parts of haplontic division. Okay, zygote is formed after fertilization. This cell is only diploid cell in the entire life cycle of organism. Thus, the same zygotic cell later undergoes meiosis. For example, some algae and fungi. See, the examples are important. Haplontic division is in some algae and fungi, while haplodiplontic. This is the combination of these two phases, haplontic and diplontic. This is in land plants and many algae. Okay, terrestrial plants and many algae. This is the diagram of haplodiplontic division. Mitosis, fertilization, diploid multicellular organisms, meiosis, spores, and mitosis. Okay. So that's it.